Good morning, folks. This is Joshua Canope with Bar JK Land and Cattle. Hey, I was just going to bring up a topic that I learned about yesterday. It's something called the PRO Act. It went into effect on Monday, and what the PRO Act is it's dealing with labor, and so the Department of Labor passed this through, and is a way for protecting workers from companies, and specifically so that they could unionize easier, and to make sure that it's a worker protection act is what they're calling it. But it's got some concerning issues with it, and some concerning issues for agriculture and for the ranching industry in particular, because most of us have used Cowboys that day work. A lot of guys I know are Cowboys who day work, and so it's got something that's gonna impact us there within it. Another thing that it does is it's gonna get rid of it supersedes the state's right to work laws, and so it's gonna allow the unions to come into the state, organize workers. The unions wanted this so that they could, instead of having members who weren't part of the union, weren't paying union dues, benefiting from the union's collective bargainings, things like that. But the thing that it's going to affect, that I think is the biggest thing about it, is what they call the gig economy, or the independent contractor economy. So the independent contractor, the way this does is and the proponents of this law, what they were focused on is that companies are trying to skip out on giving employees benefits that employees deserve, or misclassifying employees as independent contractors and getting away with not paying them benefits, or not paying their fair share in taxes and payroll tax, and reporting the employees wrong, giving them just a 1099, calling them an independent contractor. So there's a test that they use. It's called the ABC test. It was developed back in the 20s and 30s, and so the rule uses the ABC test to determine whether an employee is a full-time employee, part-time employee, or an employee, or an independent contractor. So to be an independent contractor, you have to pass the ABC test. Now, a little bit about that. So the ABC test assumes that you're an employee unless you meet all three. You have to meet all three of the ABCs in order to be an independent contractor. So you have to be not in the control of the employer, or not be controlled by the company that's employing you. So that's A. Now B is that you have to not be doing something that's within the normal purview of the company, of the employer that you're working for. So, and C, you have to have other clients that you do this job for, other people that you do this job for. So, a little bit about B. The example that I heard yesterday used is like a newspaper. So if you have an independent writer that's writing columns for this newspaper, that is part of that company's daily tasks. That's part of the purview of the company, is news, articles, papers. So they don't meet that B, and so therefore they're not an independent contractor. Now, if the newspaper hires a plumber to come in and do plumbing at the newspaper, that's not part of the newspaper's business, so therefore they are considered an independent contractor. Here's where I think it's going to hit the ranching community and agriculture hard, is day workers. So I know a lot of day workers. I've got a lot of friends that are day workers. A lot of us that even ranch, we tend to day work on the side, go help our neighbor get paid for the day, and bring in a little extra cash, especially if times are hard. If you're running low on grocery money or something like that, you go out, you just do some day work and make ends meet. Well, a day worker, they're gonna, one, they can pass A usually because they're not controlled by the rancher that they're working for. They create their own schedule. They decide when they can day work, when they can't. So if a rancher calls up and they can't do it that day, they're not obligated to come in. They're not under that control. And C, they've got other people that they're working for, so they might go work for this ranch one day and another ranch the next day, or whatever that may be. They've got other people they're working for, so they meet C. But B is where it gets them. So if you're branding cattle, you're shipping cattle, you're gathering cattle off of a pasture to move them to another place, you need a little extra help, they're going to come in and do that. Well, that's considered part of the business. So they are taking part in your business, what your main business is. And if they're fixing fence or whatever you may have that day worker come in and help you with, they're not gonna pass B. Well, you have to pass all three in order to be considered an independent contractor. So the change that will be seen there is you're gonna have to put them, instead of a 1099, you're gonna have to bring them in, and you're gonna have to have them fill out a W-2, you're gonna have to pay payroll taxes on them. If they work over a certain number of hours in a week, then you're gonna have to provide them the other benefits that you need to provide them. And so you might be looking at having to provide health care. You might be having to provide vacation time. At that point, they'll be considered a full-time employee for you. So the PRO Act, I'm not sure how we can stop it. I'm not sure how we can get that done. I would suggest calls to your congressman, calls to your senator, see what we can do here. We need to make this known throughout agriculture. I don't think anybody has paid attention. I haven't seen any ag organizations talk about this. I haven't seen any outcry from really anyone. First I heard of it was from Glenn Beck. I kind of heard some grumblings, but I didn't realize it was going to go into effect a few years ago. But so yeah, they've snuck this one through, and it went into effect on Monday with the Department of Labor. And so this may be a bit of a game changer, guys. So just wanted to let everybody know what was going on, especially since I've seen this, and it's out there now. And y'all have a great day. I would encourage everyone to kind of get a little more involved in politics. These things are going to impact every one of us. And even if you're just a day worker and out there making a living and trying to survive with a young family or by yourself, this is going to affect you guys. So y'all have a great day and fight for freedom.